And the whole house, kids, that kind of revolved around marriage.
Yes.
It kind of revolved around like family planning.
Yes.
But everybody's not into family planning. One person in particular, Leslie Jones, says marriage is legal slavery and urges her young fans not to get married. Now, I seen the
Whew.
clip, and it's no exaggeration. She said that her father raised her not to be nobody's wife. So
Wow. That's deep.
that's what she said. So, what do you think about that?
Whew. So that's deep, saying that her father raised her not to be someone's wife. So I don't really know what he raised you to be. I guess to be
Yeah,
independent,
a
but
non-slave.
but that doesn't mean just because you are single or married that don't mean you're independent. To
Oh,
me, an independent woman
okay.
is somebody who is not relying on anyone to fulfill her basic necessities and her basic needs.
Okay, yeah,
Meaning,
I can
if a
agree with that.
man breaks up with you, you can still have a house and a car.
Right.
You can still feed
You'll still
yourself.
be okay.
You still can travel here and there. Yeah, you might not be living luxury and in Thailand every 3 weeks, but you can bounce back and you can get on your feet. We know from generations and generations, our mothers, our aunties, they were not that. They had to stay with uncle who was knocking them upside the head because they didn't really have no other options because they were not raised to think to be independently.
Right.
But I think the problem that is pushed to a lot of women, and particularly black women, is once you become independent, you're independent of needing a man to flourish and fulfill or whatever aspirations you want. And
Yeah.
it's like the more degrees, the more money women start making, they start thinking they don't need a man. And I think that is bad rhetoric because I think men need women and women need men because that equals family. But I'm tired of people equating any type of struggle, any type of thing they go through with slavery. It's so disrespectful to me. Even Colin Kaepernick, the NFL is slavery, but then you campaign for 8 years trying to get back into league. So you want to get back into slavery? It makes no sense. So I don't know. I mean, was she even married? Like, did she have a horrible experience? Did she get divorced? Like, did she lose half of her money? Like, why is she saying this?
Well, I looked her up just to see what her family dynamics are, and I was not able to find where she was ever married or had kids. She did say she had 3 abortions, so but she's a comedian, so
I
so
mean,
she has some experience with men.
yeah, I just don't like it because I don't think marriage is for everyone. Nothing in this world is for everyone.
Right.
Entrepreneurship is not for everyone. Owning a home, like we just talked about, is not
Not
for
for everyone.
everyone. But there are certain principles and values that I think healthy marriage does allow families to flourish. You raise your kids, so you do this type of thing. But I'm not married, so I want to know your thoughts on this because, like, I'm just kind of on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
Um, so as a married woman, when you hear that rhetoric, and we can just kind of take the slavery part out of it because that is what makes people so emotional and enraged about it. But what is your thoughts on like being married and feeling let's not call it, obviously let's not call it slavery, but let's just call it like,
Domestic servitude.
do you feel like when you got married or any part of the marriage, how was your mindset like going in and now that you've been married for, yeah, it hasn't been a year yet, has it?
No, no, not even close. Probably like 5 months. I think I tell you this all the time. My framework of marriage came from my grandparents.
Okay.
And my grandparents definitely worked together. Like all of this conversation about who's bringing what to the table and whose money is whose, like that was not a
Conversation
narrative,
or
no,
narrative.
at all, with my grandparents. They just came together, like you said, family was important to them. They built legacy, they built memories, and it
Yes.
was a bunch of, like, I think that I go back, my grandfather is passed now, but those were some of the happiest times of my life. And I have a bigger house. I have a
Yes.
car now. Like, I'm more independent, and being around the love that my grandparents cultivated was like the happiest times in my life.
Hmm.
I think that's my mindset when I went into like being married. What was that? Like
Now
love being the
let me ask you this.
definition.
So that's you growing up. That's before the master's degree. That's before the getting around
Yeah.
women, learning about. That's before the Me Too movement. That's before feminine feminism and women empowerment
It was
became a
before,
marketing tool that
yes.
everybody's talking about. And I know obviously some of that had an impact on how you view yourself, how you view
Definitely, definitely.
education, how you view career, and how you even view men or marriage.
Mhm.
So coming from that good mindset of marriage is about family, collective working together, and then going through like an indoctrination, because like college is kind of like an indoctrination on a lot of
Depending,
things.
yes, I was gonna say. So
So
I think encountering like different thought groups
yes.
around marriage and partnership and what that means and how that can like impact your life. I think those things are good. And as a independent person, I think it's good to say, I the problem is for so long women were only defined by if they were married. And I
Yes.
think the feminist movement, the Me Too movement was all about saying like I am still just as desirable and valuable whether I'm married or whether I'm not married, whether I have children or whether I don't have children.
Hmm.
That doesn't define me as a woman. So for me, like that was good.
Okay.
So going into marriage, I feel like what Leslie is talking about, it depends on how you're both going into it. So you are more at risk, I think, as a woman going into marriage because
You think so?
you can be subjugated to like different financial abuses. You
Yes,
can be
I agree with
subjugated to
that.
different emotional abuses. Like
I agree with that.
all of those things is it's not as simple. I mean, it could be if you just want to say, hey, I'm gonna just walk away like as if I'm your girlfriend. You can do that too,
Yeah.
but you have a little bit more invested and you kind of don't want to do that. And I think
You
that's
don't
when
think men take an exceptional amount of risk getting married either, though?
I
It's a
definitely,
different risk, but it
as
is
I was going to
risk.
say, I definitely think that men take risk as well. However, I don't know if it will impact them in the same way. I think the impact is different. Like, for example, generally your wife is not can't generally financially abuse you, right? Not generally.
Right.
You
I'm
could just
hoping to get financially abused by my wife, by the way, because that means she gonna have some
you could just
paper.
cut the credit card off. You could, you know what I mean? Like, if there's too much boxes coming, you just okay. We don't got Amazon Prime. It's easy to do that. I think the impact is different because if a woman runs that risk, it's like, okay, how do I get out of it? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Without ruining the marriage. Like you could easily cut off the credit cards. Let's have a conversation. But it's like, I don't have as much power. And that's why I think the power dynamics comes
Well, okay.
because you have to trust your husband not to be an abusive person.
No, okay. I get that. So let me ask you this question then. So with you being someone who could go out and get a a good career, if you just said not necessarily screw my husband, because
Yeah,
you ain't got to
yeah.
go that far and like,
Right,
oh,
right, right,
getting
right.
a divorce. Yeah, we ain't got to go that far. But let's say you're like, okay, maybe I do want a better house. I do want to travel a little bit more. I do want a little more flexibility and not have to ask for the car for Amazon.
Hmm.
So you know what? I'm gonna just go out and get me a full time, job, and I'm gonna just work 60 hours. Like you have that flexibility
I could.
as somebody who's smart, educated, know what you're doing, know how to perform in the marketplace. So you have more power in a marriage compared to women 20 years ago.
For
50,
sure.
I mean 50 years ago,
For
whatever.
sure.
So I guess my question is, where is the power dynamic now, considering you are smart, you are educated. So the financial abuse, yes, it can happen, and that is real,
Hmm.
but you have a little more leverage
Than
than
like my grandma.
your
Well,
grandmother.
actually, my grandma kind of was. She kind of was
She was
that
that
girl.
girl. I knew
Shout
you was
out,
gonna.
B mama.
I knew you was gonna say
um,
that.
but I no, I understand. I
Say
understand
grandma
what
was.
you're. I understand what you're saying. It's like okay, in a day where women have the careers like Leslie Jones, and you can be this big comedian, you can make your own money, you can go on tour, and you can do all those things. And so you don't necessarily have the same like financial abuses or but I think the reason why she felt, first of all, let's put this into context. They was talking about being a traditional wife and making Oreo cookies from scratch and stuff like that. So
Okay.
that's what it came up.
They're not
But
talking about career driven, 6, 7
yes, there
figure.
that's what
Yeah.
and I guess that's where my take kind of came from. But if we're gonna say like all things being equal, like you make 70,000, I make 70,000, right? Like let's
Yeah.
say something like that. I still would say that is a big risk for women because you feel, and I want, and you can speak to this. I think that women feel more compelled to be in the supportive role, even if they don't have to be. Which
Yes.
means, like,
Yeah, I can
I
see that.
will work a full time job and then feel bad that I can't cook dinner. Like,
Yes, I
you know
can
what
see
I
that.
mean?
I
Like,
can see that.
I will work 60 hours and then feel like a failure because the apartment isn't clean.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And I think the emotional toll that I can't do both puts you at like an emotional
You feel like
risk.
you kind of on a hamster wheel. Like, yes, I'm out making this money, but I think the problem is education. And what I mean education, I mean not in the sense of, oh, this person has a degree, this person is. I think it's a part of education on the behalf of the woman and saying, yes, okay, you're out here making this money, so now you have to learn how to leverage money to
Mm,
reduce your workload
yeah,
and still
I will say that too.
and still complete those tasks
Hmm.
that you would traditionally have if you wasn't working.
Yes,
But now it's not just you doing it.
right.
You might hire a cleaning a cleaning company. You might do some meal prep, or you
Hmm.
might even sharpen your skills and say, "Hey, I'm gonna cook 3 times a week, and then 4 times out of the week we gonna meal prep, or or 3 times out of the week gonna meal prep, and the other time we go out on a little date
Yeah.
night. Have a sit down, and that's
Yeah.
how our relationship may be
I
structured."
think that's how it could feel like domestic servitude when you're not creative about it. And
Yeah.
I think that marriages do kind of have, what were we talking about last time when you have the family offices? Is that
Um.
what it's called? The family offices where you like have basically a team that's comes together
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. I see what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
and
see what
I
you're talking
and
about.
I really think that when you're married, you kind of have to look at your marriage kind of like its own company. Like the
Yes.
company is going to need custodial staff.
Well,
Like,
I think the problem is too is a lot of men don't allow women to get to that
to that
place
point.
of it's okay if the house isn't clean by you,
Mm.
because I think that was something I had to grow into and just say I don't get off on seeing my girl walk around in a gown like it's the 70s
Right. With her
with
broom.
her broom. Like that's just not me. I like to say, "Hey, that J Cole concert is coming up. You want to go take a weekend and do that?
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, but we need this. We can handle that.
Yeah.
Call the cleaning lady, or we can order some takeout." Because we were just talking about how like inflation impacts. It costs the same amount of money. It actually costs more to cook at home if you really think about
You
it, because
think
the
so?
time.
Yeah. Time
See,
is money.
if you add your time into what you get paid at work, and if it takes you 3 hours to do it, it's like, well, it cost you your 3 hours that you could have been at work, or you could have been doing some type of side business. It also cost the grocery cost, the commute, all of that. When you really
Gas, all of
eating
that.
at home is really for health, in
It
my
is.
opinion.
It
It's
is.
not necessarily for
Yeah, saving money.
convenience or saving money. The saving money part went out when the dollar menu left. You know what I'm saying?
They
If
try
we
to bring
really,
it back.
if we that it's just not gonna work. Like once the four for fours left and
Yeah, yeah.
Subway stopped running the $5 foot long and it
It's
became
for
a
health because everybody is getting this and getting
health
that.
conscious, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Eating at home to me is a healthier option. It's not cheaper and it's not more convenient. It's not. It's really just solely for health. So
It's a job. That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
And a lot of these women will want to be a Leslie Jones and go on tour, but also at the same time want to. And I think that's part of the Me Too movement that we kind of like missed is like the don't feel bad about not being able to do both because it's not humanly possible. Like you can't. And I think that's something that guys kind of got on us, like as far as you do your 60 hours at work, you know everything, everybody's fed, everybody got clothes, job is done.
Yeah, but I do think it is hard. Like I think men, it is hard to take care of other humans.
Yeah.
Like as a man, when you are
Like the
responsible,
pressure.
the pressure that you have, the financial pressure, the protection, like being protecting somebody, and your mistakes become my reputation.
That's
You
true.
know how you know how that go. Like a lot of people look at your girl to see how you're doing.
Hmm.
If your girl is broke, if your girl is struggling, she don't never have her hair done, her nails look crazy, her
Hmm.
makeup don't never be done. Like if she's not living and glowing,
Yeah.
you can tell either he don't rock with her like that, or he's kind of like he's not in his bag like he's really supposed to be. Or he just a knucklehead and he's not a good dude and you shouldn't be with
Right.
this dude
In the
anyway
first place.
because he's allowing you to struggle in his face while he has the ability to elevate your lifestyle
Hmm.
so you can glow as a woman. So
Yeah.
men have a lot of pressure, but I think men don't get the benefit of the doubt to talk about that because of the income gap, because of
Yeah.
society, because assets are controlled by 80%, 90% men. So it's kind of like don't nobody really want to hear that because the system is set up for
Yeah.
you to be able to take care of a wife and some kids. So I'm not gonna be the one who's gonna be, rallying around trying to find men's rights. Like
That's
I'm
what
not fighting for men's rights, right? So I can
it.
understand why women go around and do these talks and these podcasts about women rights and
Yeah.
and shooting for that. I'm all for that, but I'm not the guy that's gonna go around like wanting some credit for taking
Right.
care of a
Hey,
family. I
family.
just look at it like that's just what I was born to do.
Mhm.
That's what I'm just supposed to do. Live out my purpose so I can be able to take care of
Like
my
it comes
family.
with a
So
gig.
yeah, it is what it is. So I definitely don't agree with the Leslie slavery talk. Like that's just ridiculous to even do that, and it's extremely, extremely insensitive, and it's extremely blown out of proportion. Like it's not really that deep. Like we be having these conversations online, and when we just jump to slavery, I just be like, bro, it's a lot of these conversations don't really be that deep to
Yeah.
go that far. But she's just trying to get her point across, and it didn't land.
But it was funny.
I
I
mean, she's
think
a comedian
I was
though, so
gonna
I'm gonna
say. I
give her
think
that.
yeah. I
So
was gonna say.
thank you guys for watching. In order to continue to support independent journalism, I need you to subscribe to our page below. And also, if you want the full podcast and more exclusive content, make sure you subscribe to the Patreon. Link is in the description.